Morning.
Good morning.
Birthday boy.
Morning. Good morning.
Happy birthday.
Hey guys, another weekend spent in a U-Haul. That's right, I am in a U-Haul right now following Tyler and his parents, and they are in town this weekend because we were originally supposed to have our big tulip show, big party this weekend in the garden, but the tulips aren't quite ready yet, so we postponed that. And they came to town anyway to celebrate his birthday, and we are headed back to Shelby, North Carolina to see Justin at S&K Greenhouse because we heard that he got a big shipment this week of evergreens, and we are headed back to pick some things up. So we got the U-Haul because we're hoping that we can take home 3 or 4 decent sized evergreens and potentially the Carolina Sweetheart Redbud that we're looking for. And who knows what else. So we're headed there now, and we'll show you what we got. All right, guys, so we've made it to S&K. And Tyler's family's already looking, and they already have a lot of stuff, which we were only here about 2 weeks ago, and they have already started filling up the greenhouse and brought lots of plants out. So we think we're gonna find something today.
I'm excited.
Wow, they do have a lot more.
Yeah.
Look, they're piled all the way back beyond where they were the other day.
I don't even know where to begin.
You guys, look at all of these beautiful evergreens and all these colors. So awesome.
I like that.
Right. Your dad likes this one.
Yeah.
I like it too.
It's called Monkey, right?
Yeah, I think monkey something. Okay guys, so one of the things that we definitely know that we want to take home today is a Bonnie blue spruce. And we've been going back and forth because we really like the Hoops blue spruce, and now we can actually see them side by side. So you can see the Bonnie blue has a little bit more blue green tone in it. Also has slightly smaller foliage from what you can see here, which we really, really love the way this looks. But the Hoops is really pretty, and it's much more icy silver. And it has slightly larger foliage, which is interesting. Obviously, these two, like, they're two different sizes. That one over there might be a Bonnie too.
Yeah.
It looks very similar.
Let's see. Nope, this is Bad Albert.
Oh, wow. So it's so interesting how similar they all are to each other. Just very, very slight variations.
There's a lot dotted through, so there might be some others.
Yep. And then Tyler also already spotted the cone that he wants, which this is the first one we've seen so far. And this
We'll see
is
what other ones they have, what other sizes.
Yeah, I think we're hoping for one just a slightly bit larger than this, but you can see.
Bigger? Really?
I think so, but you can see
Gosh.
these gorgeous little cones that this has, and it's keeping them late into the spring.
But they'll be red. So this is a red cone Norway spruce.
Yes. Okay, so another one that we were super interested in was Monty. We had seen this on a video and done a lot of research on it, and it's said to be the bluest of the blue spruces. You can see it says Isley's Blues Collection, and I think this one gets a little bit smaller than what we're looking for. Yeah, so this one is 8 foot high by 6 foot wide, and the spot that we want to put this blue spruce is we want something a little bit more substantial than that, but I'm kind of torn. I kind of want this one for another space. There's just so many decisions to make. All right, what do you think?
Hey!
Justin, I'm Brian. Okay guys, so Justin just spent a lot of time with us talking about all the different varieties and the really cool ones that are grafted that you can grow in the South. And there's just so many options for conifers in your garden these days. And we're just learning about it. I feel like this is all brand new for us. So In the meantime, Tyler picked out that plant right back there. Tyler, tell us about it.
It's a Bonnie blue spruce. It's pretty small. And Bonnie blue spruces get like 25 feet tall and 15 feet wide, which is big for our garden. But at that size, I mean, we're gonna live with it for many, many, many years before it will ever become an issue. If it does become an issue, I don't think that it will. Brian's worried about it getting too big.
Yeah.
But for now, we can plant stuff around it and it'll just be beautiful little blue pup.
So that's one down. Okay, so now that you've got Bonnie, what are you on the hunt for now?
Next we're looking for the red cone Norway spruce.
So why don't you show us those?
Some up here. Oh, over here.
All
I
right.
like the shape on this one.
Yeah, I love that one. I like that one back there, but I think you're right. It has some the one back there has some like empty spaces, but oh, you're right. Look at those pink cones. How interesting that is. So cool. And then they turn into this and then age to this and get a little bit bigger. I think that's going to be such a really unique look in the garden.
Do you want this size or should we get this size?
I think I want the bigger size because we're taking out the Japanese maple, so I do feel like we're going to need some balance back there. So I'd say let's go for the bigger size.
Okay. What you got, Brian?
Okay, so the other thing we want, and we told you guys about, is a Carolina Sweetheart red bud. And we have to show you. So this is not a Carolina Sweetheart. This is the Golden Falls, which we already have. But this is the Carolina Sweetheart, and we're so glad we found it because I think this is going to be the crown jewel of this new garden area. It's just going to sit sort of right out on the curve, and they have some here that are really substantial size and really beautiful shape. So I think we have to get one of these and take it home because I don't know. We've only seen these really small so far, and I love that these are a little bit bigger because we kind of wiped everything out of the garden. So we need something that is bigger so it doesn't feel like it's missing something.
We are pushing our budget today.
What's a budget?
Okay.
I found the one I want. Try to get it out of here. So I like this one because it has a really beautiful shape. I was a little bit worried that we would find one that was just kind of skinny and spindly, but red buds grow super, super fast. So I feel like this one will put on some really beautiful foliage this year, and then in the coming years, it'll get much, much bigger.
Do you want to carry it to our pile down there?
Let's do it.
They have so much stuff. I am very overwhelmed.
All right, what's next?
I don't know. We need to figure out which red cone Norway spruce you want,
All right.
and the weeping Alaskan cedar. And then there's also a dogwood Brian has been looking for, and I think they have it, but Justin was checking because there wasn't a tag on it.
All right, let's go check it out. All right, guys, so we have the red cone Norway spruce, and we have all of these options here. There's a smaller option, and there's a bigger option. And Tyler, I think that we should go with the bigger option.
Of course you do.
I mean, I just think that it grows slow, so I want to start with something that's a little bit nicer, a little heftier to start. And look at the shape of this one. So I think this has a nice shape to start.
It's cute.
Oh, I accidentally pulled this off, but
Souvenir.
a token of the day. All right, I think we should add this to the pile.
All right.
Let's see if I can pick it up. Let's do it. right.
This is a good haul.
Should we stop? I don't want to stop.
I mean, I don't want to, but we should.
There's one thing over here I'm really interested in.
I don't think we should.
Let's
We
go
should
look at it.
stop.
Come on. Okay, so this is a peeve minaret. So this is a version of a redwood. And
I thought he said it was a bald cypress.
a bald cypress, you're right. So this is a version of a bald cypress. And you guys know we just took out that standard limelight hydrangea. And we're gonna pop a tricolored willow out just a little bit from where that was. But I think that we could use some sort of evergreen interest back in the back. Well, I guess this isn't evergreen, but it is very green. But the bald cypress really soaks up water. And so I think this would be perfect back there. And it's got such an interesting habit. So, I don't know, Tyler, you're the decision maker here.
Just knock yourself out.
We're gonna knock
Just
ourselves
go for
out.
it.
Let's do it. Which one do you think?
I don't know.
I think this one's
Okay.
a little bit taller. Let's do it.
Cool with the trunk being like wonky like that. They're both actually like that.
I think if this
Yeah, you could plant it that way.
Yeah, I think that's right.
All right,
Let's
come
do
on.
it. All right, now we're done, folks. Okay, go get the U-Haul. All right, guys, we are leaving S&K, and that was the best experience. Justin was here, and Alex, and we ended up getting literally everything on our list, which is kind of insane. I think that there's one more conifer that we're gonna come back and get when we're a little bit farther along with another new space that we have going in this year. But we were able to get our dogwood, we were able to get all of the conifers that we were looking for. We got that cool little bald cypress. I just think that this was a super successful trip. And it feels like when you're gardening, like you're taking some gambles by getting a U-Haul and, you know, driving an hour away. But when you do, sometimes it pays off. So we'll show you all about each plant that we got as we're planting them. But this has been so fun. Corner down the street, and I heard something, and I was like, dang, I made all this way. Yeah, well, the Alaskan tea is not good. We'll get this one, you get that. Yeah. This one's gonna be.
Birthday
To you, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tyler.
Happy birthday
To you.
Farmer in the dale, farmer in the dale. I hold a cherry, old farmer in the dale.
All right, guys, so we are back home. We had a great day with Tyler's family, and my mom and dad actually ended up stopping by and celebrating his birthday with us. We all had some coffee, which was so nice. Our parents love to come here and have us make coffee for them. So we had coffee and some cake, and it was just a really, really great afternoon.
Yeah, my mom made a honey bun cake, which, if you know, it's like decadent. So,
It's so good.
She left the rest of that with us. We're going to have some more tomorrow morning with some coffee, I'm sure.
Yes, but this morning we had the best time at S&K Greenhouse. Justin walked us around. And
It was so much fun.
Yeah, he just showed us so many great things, and he was educating us, and they're like fully stocked on their evergreens right now. So we ended up getting so lucky, and I'm so glad that we got the U-Haul because we packed it full, and I can't wait to show you guys what we got.
Let's take a walk around.
All right, Tyler, where are we starting?
Okay, so we did go ahead and kind of place everything because we were just too excited once we got back.
Yeah.
And we wanted our parents to see it all before they left. So we'll start right here. So this is going to be the centerpiece of this garden. This is a Carolina Sweetheart Redbud. It will get about 20 to 30 feet tall and the same wide, I think. Obviously, it's not that big right now, but it's still going to be a really nice, stately piece. Why don't you come show the tag, Brian? Because it does have really cool foliage.
Yeah.
So remember the other day in our video last week, I mentioned that we're kind of missing the red foliage here and kind of interesting foliage. This is definitely going to give us that. And we'll get also some nice spring blooming, which we don't have. And if you're not familiar with redbud blooms, it's going to look very similar to that tree over our neighbor's garage. So very excited for this one. Again, this is going to be kind of our centerpiece for this garden. You can see it from the kitchen. Obviously, you can see it from the deck. You can see it from the bedroom. It's just going to be the perfect plant for this space. So we keep walking this way. We have what I think is my favorite of the things we bought today. This is a red cone Norway spruce called Acrocona. It really just has like a whimsical shape, really long fingers, which we both love. And the pine cones are right here on the end. And the cool thing about this one, if you remember from earlier, it does come out with pink pine cones in the spring. And I thought there were some, oh yeah, if you come on this side, Brian, there are some, and I think this might be the exact same one that we showed earlier at S&K. But there are some new pine cones coming out for the spring right here. So they come out kind of light pink, they'll go to red, and then of course they'll go to the normal brown color farther along in the season. Now this one is sort of like a medium size, which is why we put it here. It's only gonna get about 8 feet wide, 12 feet tall. Obviously we've got a lot of time for that, so we'll be able to plant around this for a little bit. And we still have given it some room here to kind of fill in. And if we need to cheat this flower bed over the years, I think it'll be perfectly fine to do that. This way, this is my second favorite. This is a Bonnie Blue Colorado spruce. If you come on this side, Brian, I think this is the prettiest side, which is why we faced it this way. Again, kind of has these little reaching fingers that we love, gives it a little bit more of an airy shape. This one obviously is very, very blue. The needles on this are a little bit thinner than your traditional Colorado blue spruce. This is another one that I was super excited to get, and they only had 2 today. So while Justin was talking to us, I was like looking around. He probably thought I was crazy. I was looking around because I was afraid someone was gonna go and take these, but we were lucky enough to snatch it up. So this is gonna go right here, and it's gonna kind of flank the other side of the shed. The Vanderwolf is on that side of the window. We'll have this one on this side of the window. And as they grow up, they'll kind of shroud the bottom of the shed from this view, but we'll still have that nice little window and vignette through to see the shed, which will be cool. Then we have this monster. Oh my God, as Justin was carrying this, it looks like a person walking. And I think this is your favorite, right, Brian?
This is my favorite. It's just so whimsical. Also, the foliage is just so soft looking.
Yeah.
From afar, it kind of blows in the wind, and I just really love this look.
So we didn't say what this is. This is a weeping blue Alaskan cedar. This one will also get somewhat big. I think the sizing is kind of all over the place when you're looking, but I think this one will get about 8 to 10 feet wide, 20 feet tall. So eventually Bonnie and the Alaskan cedar might touch, which I think will be really cool. But when you're looking this way, it will kind of give us just like a natural privacy point. And hopefully we can continue to plant evergreens along this hill here that will get bigger and help with that. But this is going to be kind of a unique specimen here in the garden. So if we walk all the way back here to this corner, just be careful where you're stepping. There's lots of stuff coming up over here. We've got a really cool tree planted back here in the corner. So this is, I'm probably going to get the name wrong. This is a Coosa dogwood called Summer Gold.
I think
Golden
that's right.
Summer?
Yep.
Something like that. Variegated foliage, big white flowers. And the reason why we have it tucked back here is because of the variegation. It does need a little bit of protection from that hot afternoon sun. It will get some morning sun in here through under this pine tree, but in the afternoon it will be mostly protected. And then when we get really hot afternoon sun with the sun setting back here, it will be protected by kind of the forest back here. So obviously this isn't leafed out yet, but it will be really pretty, and it's going to be a bright pop back here in this corner.
And it stays on the smaller side too. I think it has a shorter growth habit and sort of
kind of narrow. Yeah,
very
and you can
narrow
see
for
it's
a
pretty.
dogwood.
It's pretty narrow as is, so we can just tuck it right here in this corner.
Yeah.
We have one more down here, and this is one that Justin talked us into, which it's not hard at all to talk us into something. So Brian had mentioned to Justin that we have a low spot over here, and he showed us this bald cypress. And I'm not going to be able to pronounce the name, so we'll just put it on the screen for you. But this will get about 10 feet tall, 6 feet wide, and it will just be a nice cap right here where we had that limelight hydrangea before. And in the fall, the needles on this will turn kind of a reddish brown, which will give us some more fall interest. Of course, during the winter, we'll have sticks, but that's okay. It's just going to be a really kind of focal point to cap off this garden. And then in here, we'll have our tricolor willow, which will also be a little bit different. So this area is going to kind of change up as we go through the season. I think that's about it. So we've got some really strong, powerful storms coming tomorrow. So we are going to try our best to get all of these in the ground right now so that they're kind of protected and not in the path of the storm and blowing over in their cans. So here we go. right, it is a beautiful new day. We just finished up work. When you last saw us, we were frantically trying to plant all of the trees that we got from S&K Greenhouse before the storms. And the storms weren't as bad,
No.
at least here. I know there were other parts of the country that were really devastating. But thankfully for us, we just got a lot of rain, which was really good for the things that we planted to kind of water them in. But we've got some more to do. But before we do that, let's walk around and remind you of where we ended. So as we're walking around, you will notice there are a lot of leaves on the ground. And these are from the ivy that was growing up this big tree. When we had all of our trees removed, they also cut the ivy so that it would die back and not take over this tree. But now those lovely leaves are blowing into our garden. So we are trying to keep them maintained, but I think that it's gonna kill Brian before it's over.
I cleaned it up.
He did clean up the garden, so this looks nice at least. But what do you think, Brian?
I think it's beautiful. I'm really obsessed with all of our evergreens. Look at this guy. He's so cute here. And honestly, over the past few days, we've just been watching how the sun hits the garden and how like all of the evergreens look and all the new trees against the shed, and like the views are just changing so fast, and I'm so excited about it.
This shot right now behind you is really cool because we're getting the blue spruce, we're getting the weeping Alaskan cedar.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Yeah, but you have to look at my red bud. I'm so excited about it. It's honestly such a wonderful shape. I have to be careful here because there's a bunch of hostas coming up around what used to be this tree, but it's starting to bloom, and I think it's gonna push out blooms all over. And before blooms, or after blooms, in fact, we get all of our foliage in place. So that's coming soon.
So pretty. And it's just gonna get more and more covered as time goes on.
But we have a lot to do tonight, so let's get started.
Okay, so the first one we're gonna tackle is our Bonnie blue spruce. And you'll notice she's kind of leaning back this way, but that's okay. Once we get the hole dug, we can plant it upright. But I think looking on this way is the perfect shape. Got all these leaves in here. Gosh. But it's just really striking. Like, we haven't had this like blue foliage color in our garden before, and it just is, it's so cool seeing it here. Obviously this will go, but just seeing how blue it is compared to the Vanderwolf pine back here is really cool, because we used to think like that was blue, but this is even more blue, obviously. So we're gonna start with this, and then I think we're gonna jump down to the bald cypress and get that, because that hole is kind of already dug. And then we're gonna try to transplant the Japanese maple. We have a lot on our to-do list, so we'll see what we get done tonight, but we're gonna start with Bonnie right here.
Oh my gosh, it's so pretty.
This is what this needed the whole time.
Thank you. That's why I said that a long time ago.
Okay, so since we knew that we were going to be transplanting a lot of trees, we decided to get this stuff called Super Thrive. This is a liquid concentrate vitamin solution that includes kelp and a whole bunch of vitamins. And we read a ton of reviews, and they basically all said that if you're transplanting trees in your garden, this is basically like your insurance. Like, this is gonna really help the tree sort of like recover, and hopefully it won't get mad at us and sort of revolt and die. This will go straight to the roots and give it something to drink and eat before it sort of gets established in that area. So we're gonna use, it's literally just a half a teaspoon per 2-gallon container. So we're gonna use a half a teaspoon in this and just pour it right over. And you can smell it. It smells like some odd chemical / ocean mixture. Okay, you guys, we have this tried-colored willow in the ground in this spot, and it is so pretty. What do you think, Tyler?
It's really cool. When
think-
when you walk in now, it just feels so right.
Yeah.
Like I can't vision this spot in the garden now without this height right here. Like it feels like it perfectly caps this beginning spot of the garden.
Yeah, let me show you guys. Okay, so you guys are getting a sneak peek at the tulips, but and that hydrangea tree that needs to go. But you can see when we're walking down the path and from the entryway to our garden, this tree is just going to be the perfect shape. The way that it catches the light, the way that it's going to move with every time the wind blows, especially because we're going to get all of those glorious colors because it's a tricolor. So it has green at the bottom, and then it comes out to pink, and then the very tips of the new growth are going to be white, and I just cannot wait. So we ended up leaving this and not pruning it yet because we knew we were going to move it, and we wanted to make sure that we had a good estimate of size. So it came out this spring, and it started flushing new growth on the old stems from last year. And you want to trim back a tricolored willow down to almost a basketball size. I think we'll end up a little bit larger than that, but we decided not to do that yet because we wanted to make sure that we understood the space and how big it would get on this side and where to plant it in the garden. So now that we have it in the ground, we just need to trim it back. Okay, so like I said, we're gonna take it back to almost a basketball size, probably a little bit larger because on this tree, you can see where the growth points were. So there's basically a Y right here, well, larger than a Y, basically a fist right here with all of the fingers coming out. So what I'm gonna do is actually take this, and you can see right here where we ended up taking it from last year. I'm gonna go right back to that spot, and I'm gonna trim all the way back. And what this is gonna do is flush all new back for us, and it's gonna be super even, and we're gonna get all that glorious color, and it's gonna be gorgeous.
Wow, what a week. I feel like we have just been in this garden every single day, all day long, which is not true. We actually have full-time jobs too.
But we have spent a lot of time out here, and although we've done a lot of hard work, it was a lot of fun.
Yes, and we are coming out here to walk around every chance we get because it is just so beautiful. We got so many trees in the ground this week. We got so many sort of like updates and big shifts made in the garden, and I feel like we're almost like complete with this phase of like restructuring.
Yeah.
And we're almost ready to start planting for the season. But
I will say that when we were moving the Japanese maple, we did have a moment of questioning everything. Like, why are we like this? Why do we have to move everything? Why do we have to change everything? But now that it's in its place, I think you're really going to like it.
yeah, let's show you.
Okay, here it is. So through careful dragging of the tree, we somehow got it over here, and it was heavy. But you can see it is still leafing out. We're getting the first little red blooms, and it just feels like a garden back here now. There's just something about having an actual tree structure that makes it feel complete. I don't know. What do you think, Brian?
I love it. I think that it's interesting because we put in this little formal swoop of boxwoods with the cones years ago, and we always knew that we wanted that there, which is a very formal thing. And then we added that obelisk and the rose, and I think that we had this like formality and the weight of the garden in mind. But I think after all this time, seeing the Japanese maple in this like area now, it feels like it was always supposed to be this way.
Yeah. And I will say, when you walk into the main bedroom, the middle window, which we didn't realize until the other night, but the middle window is directly center on this. So when you walk in to the main bedroom, you see this just little vista, and it feels like we planned it this way, which I'm going to tell everybody that we did because it's beautiful.
We did. And
I will say we're probably going to take at least these 3 arborvitaes behind out. We're going to make sure this stays alive before we commit to that. But I think we're going to take those out. Maybe these extra ones on the end. I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes. But for now, we're going to focus on keeping this happy. We did put some of the transplant juice formula. What do you call it?
the vitamin solution.
Okay, the vitamin solution in here, which we'll link down below in the description. If you've got anything that you're transplanting this spring, it's probably a good idea to give it a little bit of a feed of that just to make sure that it sticks. So off camera, Brian did go ahead and plant the summer gold dogwood over here. We're unsure if it is actually summer gold. So when we bought this at S&K, Justin was like 98% sure that it's summer gold. So we're gonna see. It is some kind of dogwood because we can see the blooms on the tips, but once the foliage comes out, we'll be able to see exactly what it is. So, oh, and the willow, I almost forgot, which I don't think we really talked about doing this in the order of events that we did it, but we ended up transplanting this tricolor willow from the Union Garden to here. This one was heavy, but it wasn't as heavy as the Japanese maple. And I will say, once we dug out the hole, it was just sitting in water. Willows love water, so I think that's okay, but we're gonna have to keep that in mind when we go to planting over there now and just plant things that really like water. So this is gonna cap this space really nicely here once it starts to fill in. And I think that's gonna be it for this week. We are gonna call this video a wrap.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for sticking it out with us. I feel like this week was a fun trip of shopping and garden projects and big shifts in our garden, but such fun stuff ahead. And we're so like loving sharing with you guys again and being back on YouTube. So we are headed out of town tomorrow for Tyler's birthday trip. We are headed to New York City tomorrow.
My birthday's just lasting the whole month.
It's I think they should all be like this. My birthday is next month, Tyler.
Perfect.
So we, I'm sure, are going to bring you guys along for the ride there. But as for this video, thank you guys so much. Be sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel to follow along. And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.